Akkam jirtan daawwattoota keenya ana qopheessaa sagantaan tanaa Dameessaa Ahmed qophiin tun qophii sagantaa barcumaatti arra keessumaa kabajamtuu qabaannee isinii dhiyaannee jirra keessumaan tun ABC Q&A irratti hirmaattee jirti akkasumaan kitaaba Riip Jaamu barreessitee jirti nu waliin ture isiniin jenna. Manal, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
I am a spoken word artist and creative producer. So a lot of the work I do is around looking at the importance of storytelling and how we can really use that to create ourselves, to build ourselves, and things like that, and creating events that go around that have that kind of motive as well.
You have released a book. Tell us a bit about how that came about and the title and what's behind the title.
Yeah, so I released my first collection in 2015 and it's pretty much all poetry, and I curated it from work that I'd been writing over many years. And the title is called Reap, and it's actually one of the literal translations of my name from Arabic. Manal means to achieve or to reap whatever you've worked for. It's what you get back. And so I kind of put that on there, and on the book it's actually written in graffiti on a wall, and it's one of the only legal graffiti walls in Adelaide. And so once you put something on that wall, like, you best believe it's going to be covered up very soon. And it was kind of the idea that, like, I've been rushing to place my mark, to put my story, my name onto something that somewhere where everybody's kind of fighting to put their stories in. And so that's kind of the cover, is like capturing that, and these are my stories, these are all of the things that I've reaped over the years. So
wow, awesome. So what's happening for you now? What are some of the things that you're involved in?
So at the moment I'm taking it easy, and I'm doing a lot of work in schools, so performing poetry and doing workshops in schools, and that's pretty much most of it, and then doing a few other things in community groups, and I'm going around Australia doing that, which is a lot of fun.
Great. You're also involved in Q&A. How did that come about?
Q&A, that was a while ago now. So that was because they were doing an episode that was on people that had been involved in the Australian of the Year Awards, and I happened to have been previously nominated, and so that came up, and it was pretty interesting being up there and having conversations with people that I otherwise may not have been speaking to on a platform like that. So
So your book Reap, where if people want to buy it, where can they get it from? Is it still available to people?
So at the moment you can only really get it on my website or at Dimix in Adelaide. So you can order it online from me, even shooting me an email. It's all like managed through myself and like my family and friends who are willing to like post things out when I don't have a chance to do it myself. So you can grab it on my website or at Dimix.
Which one you feel you're proud of?
I think that there's a pride in all of the books, all of the poems in the book. And there was a time when I questioned what was in there, because obviously when you're putting something out into the world, and a lot of things are quite personal, or even if it's not personal, you become very critical of your own work. And because it was the poems in there are over such a large span of time, there are things in there that don't resonate with me in the same way that they used to, And so it was a process for me to understand that whatever I wrote and whatever stage of my life I was in, that was a very honest thing at that time. So even if I may not connect with it in the same way now, I appreciate it for what it is and what it was and what it meant to me at the time that I actually wrote it. And that's why some things are in there that I may not necessarily align with anymore. So in terms of what I'm most proud of, I don't think I can compare any of them. I don't think I can say that there's something in there that I'm like proud of more than all of the others, I think that they all serve their purpose, and they all had their time and their story and their message, and that's what's important to me.
For those that haven't heard your poetry, your poems and stuff like that, can you give us a little demo of one of your favorites that you like performing?
This one is called Neverland. Dear stranger, take my hand. I want to show you a Neverland that may sound something like a J.M. Barrie tale, but is really nothing like Peter Pan's. You see, real lost boys and girls weren't always troublemakers running wild and free. Some of them have had things to do. They've had responsibilities, yet they stay so strong it astounds me. Children are always looking forward to tomorrow. And they don't need LSD to throw away their sorrows. They're high on life. So unless you want them to get high on pipes, don't teach them to hate or to fear, or you've sealed their fate when their mere desire to please those they cared for was all that they needed to prepare for a world that succeeds in mocking both heaven and hell. Raise us well. Raise us better. It's just a preview.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. For those who are growing up in a Western society and are having difficulties finding themselves or trying to find a slot which they fit in, what advice would you give them?
I think the biggest thing is to center yourself in all of your goals and ideas and dreams. And I think that when I say that, it comes from a place of knowing what it was like to have built myself on proving who I am to somebody else, trying to change perceptions of who I am, of who my people are, rather than actually thinking about, well, okay, what do I want? What do I need? So many things about what I was doing was about other people. It was about making them understand, changing the perception, things like that. And I think that after a while you realize that in that you're not thinking about yourself and what you need and what you want and what your family needs and what your people need, and when we do that, we actually push ourselves further onto the margin. So once we start centering ourselves, we actually change the whole discussion of which we're on the margins, we're the outside, we're the other, etc. But if we actually stop looking at the inside and thinking that's where we need to be, and we're just like, okay, actually we're good. We're good, we can do, we can be, we can everything, but only if we stop looking at ourselves as the other, if we stop seeing ourselves as being on the margin, if we instead turn inward and look, and we're just like, look at what we've got, look at what we can do, look at how incredible we can be, how incredible we already are. And that's where the real power is going to come, where the self-empowerment is going to come, in seeing that our job is not to
find a slot within society.
Exactly. Because the slot isn't created for us. Nobody has a slot there waiting for them. You need to create your own space. And that's what I would say.
As someone growing up in a Western society, there are many challenges, you know what I mean? Even the image of the black community nowadays has changed, in terms of the recent so-called gang. The broader Australian community relates you and I and every other African as being a part of that, that image, that negative image. And for us as a community to rectify that, what are some of the things that as a community that's obligated upon us to do? What is it that we need to do in order to help our youngins stay away from such wanting to be involved in such things, and want to be a part of lead down in a path which is self-destructive for them and the community as well.
Yeah. Well, there are two things in what you just said. So when you said that the perception of the black community has changed, my first challenge would be, has it? Has it always been this way? If it wasn't us, it was Aboriginal people, and they're still facing it. It's in the end, it's an overall problem that we have around the perception of blackness and what that means and how people are treated because of it, and that's been there for a very, very long time, and so it's a big thing to unlearn. The second thing is, and actually rather than saying it's a big thing to unlearn, I should say when we want to address the issue, we need to consider that it's not something new. It's not something that's small and it's like, oh, it's because these people came and did this, so now it's about coating that. It's actually like, it's a massive generational problem, it's a systemic problem, it's huge, and it's bigger than us. The second thing is that if we want the best for our youth, right, who are struggling with a lot of things, again, I think it comes back to centering them, centering their well-being, and the fact that we actually genuinely care about our brothers and sisters, and that's why we want to do something to help change that situation, to make them, to help them to accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish, so that they don't get into any kind of problems, you know. But there are a lot of things that lead them to that, and that it's actually those causes that we need to address, right? But the problem is that we don't look at it with them at the center. We don't look at it with us at the center. Instead, the first thing that comes to our mind, like even in the way that you asked the question, right? Is you mentioned the perception of Africans and how we're grouped in, and unfortunately that's how so many of us see it, and we have there's a resentment that exists because we're trying to say we're not like them, we're not like those Africans, but and then we're actually mad not that like half of our community is struggling with all of these issues, we're mad that we're being associated with these people who are considered troublemakers in society when we're trying so hard to assimilate or or integrate or whatever you want to call it, right? And that's where our problem is, and we can't possibly address these things, you know, and we got to stop treating people like they're a problem as well. We can't possibly address these things if actually what we care about is not them. What we care about is us and how we're viewed in relation to the wider society and our image. And our image exists in the way that it does because we're constantly then still seeing us as the other, you know? It kind of all ties in.
Do you think that, you know, the modern hip-hop that's in trends at the moment, does that have an effect in the way that the youth want to be and the way that they kind of lead and interact with one another?
I think that we're too quick to use hip-hop as a scapegoat and say that this is the problem with everything, without actually thinking about, okay, what are the environments that people are in, and with the thing is that it's difficult because it's actually, first of all, it's every type of music, right? Every type of music has particular cultures that are pushed through that music. The hip hop you described is the hip hop you listen to, and actually, it's a lot of people. And I used to be like this myself. I mean, that kind of sounds a little bit self-righteous, but I used to think similarly in the sense that I would be like, old school hip hop was real hip hop, you know, and what's here now is just all it. But the thing is that old school hip hop also had a lot of what we're seeing now that you're saying is detrimental, right? Which, and it's up to perception about whether or not it is, okay? And I think that all of these things that you love about old school hip hop still exist in current hip hop. And so the music that you're talking about might be music that you listen to, but I'm far away from anything that I feel like might be detrimental to the way that I think, right? And so all of the stuff that I listen to is like new school, not all of it, but a lot of it is new school, but it's just as filled with message, just as filled with honesty, you know? It depends on who you choose to follow. Now, it might, the hip hop that people are listening to might be leading them into a particular way of living or having a particular understanding of the world. But I guess then what we need to be thinking of like is how are they accessing this? And a lot of it is because, well, what's considered popular, what's considered mainstream, what's put on the radio, like all of these things will then impact like the access that people have to finding this kind of music. Do you know what I mean? And so it's less hip hop's fault and more of how we as a society choose to filter the things that come that are available to us, you know. And that's not to say that we should have any kind of censorship. People need to listen to whatever they can connect with, you know, to whatever it helps them to feel relevant, you know. And if there are kids that are thinking that what they're hearing about, you know, sex, drugs, money, whatever, if you're thinking that they're relating to that and therefore they're listening to that and they're putting that into their lives, we need to think about why they're relating to these things that you deem negative, you know. And again, that's up to perception about what is and isn't negative. But that becomes the issue then. It's like, why can people relate to this particular culture rather than what's around them? And so then we have to look at what's around them, and we need to look at how that impacts them and how that makes them then search for something for a part of themselves in something that we may be considered violent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely true. Because young people are very impressionable. What's the word?
Impressionable.
Yeah, that's the word.
You
It's
got
a bit
this.
of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess if they're not guided, like as you said, if they're not guided and if they're not exposed to and educated in the way the decision making process or in the things that they listen to, I guess they can end up listening to things which are not healthy for them in a sense.
Yeah, but again, like, what's the alternative? That's the other thing that I want to bring up.
Mm.
Like, where else can we see ourselves?
Mm.
What other culture can we see? Like, and we're talking about things like arts, like music, and it's a part of being here to find ourselves in these things, to find something that we relate to. And if the only place that, for example, with black people, if the only place that we see black people is in hip hop culture, right? And then we may not have access to underground hip hop culture or these artists that talk about things that perhaps you and I deem as being things that we want to listen to. If you don't have access to those things and you're just seeing what's presented in front of you of this is what you do, this is black
options.
people, these are your options,
Yeah.
then you're going to see that, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that is me.
Yeah.
I see myself in that. And then it kind of happens like that and it snowballs. So what are the other options? We can say to people, don't listen to this, don't do this, but then it's just like, well, then what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It's
Most definitely.
double-edged sword.
Yeah, most definitely. That's crazy. You've been involved in the art sector for a long time, for a while now, yeah?
Yeah.
And how is the art sector in terms of diversity? Is that something that that's easily penetratable? Is that the right word? Or is there a lot of barriers which restricts you from being involved completely, rather than you tagging along with someone? Hey, look, I have someone, and someone advocating on your behalf. Can you just walk in? Hey, I have a story to tell. Can I get links up? Can I make things happen for myself? Are you given that opportunity within the art sector?
There are opportunities, right? But they're limited. And within part of those limits are, like, yes, there are not that many opportunities, and those opportunities that do exist are often with strings attached. Now, these are not strings that are there in the the application form, like you have to do this or this or this, but it's kind of known about what the parameters are of what you can present. So if you want to present something that's really revolutionary, you have to think about, okay, who's actually going to fund that project? You have to always make things relate back to this selling point that whatever organization or whatever group is funding you will also relate to. Now, if all of the leaders of these organizations and groups, not all of them, most of them at the moment are, like, it's very white dominated. And so if you're trying to appeal to people who perhaps will not understand what it is that you're trying to present, then you're going to contort whatever it is that you're going to present in order to fit into something that they can understand, right? And therefore, you're limited from actually presenting whatever it is that your idea is. You have to stay within the confines.
Within the box.
Exactly. And that's why, like, you might see people of color up on stages and doing really great things, and this is not to degrade it in any way, but how many of them are actually doing something that is like different, like presenting something that's like really, really different? And it's because once you start to work within the sector, you start to comply, you start to think about, okay, what's going to get you tickets, what's going to get a good report back for your funding or whatever it is, all of these things. So it comes down to whether or not you're willing to work within that. And so for a lot of people, that's actually what turns them away. And then even before that, there are barriers because, where is the outreach happening? How do people know that, okay, this is actually accessible to them if they're not seeing any kind of representation in there in the first place? Like, there's a lot of issues within it. So ideally, the art scene would be, this wonderful place where everybody has a voice and everything can be said, but that's just not the reality. And it's probably going to be a while before it is. But in the meantime, you have really dope groups coming up that are, providing spaces for black people to be able to express in whatever they want, for Indigenous people to be able to express in whatever they want, for islanders, for whichever group. Who knows what the outcome is going to be? Who knows where we're going to be in many years' time? Who knows what the goal is? But at the moment, we're just focusing on making sure that everybody has some kind of access and some kind of voice and a group and support to be able to actually create and know that they can create and completely shake those barriers that exist if you try to go into the mainstream art world.
In order for you or for someone to truly heal, it's coming from a place of someone who truly understands you, understands your struggles, understands your culture, and where it is that what issues that it is that you're having. You know what I mean? I guess, you know, like black people feel as though that, you know, if you express how you feel to a white person, then they can penetrate those walls that you cannot penetrate yourself and get your story across. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why black people, when they have an artistic idea, they run to a white person. Why? Because they can penetrate those walls, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel as though that black people are being tokenized in terms of applying for the funds and doing things on their behalf?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And I do think that for a lot of people, they might feel exploited. And it's the same, I felt that before, you know, and not necessarily in the exact same situation, but that case of like you become the token, you become an opportunity for people to be able to get more, whether it's because your picture is going to be the one that's plastered on their poster and you're the only black person there.
Yeah.
And but it's a way of them kind of being like, look, like this is our outreach. Like, yeah, that exists.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And that's why I think it's important that we have organizations that are run by, if it's for Africans, run by Africans, so that we know we know we know the intentions, and when that money comes in, it actually goes towards something that's going to build the community, not just toward an organization.
They are. I've been watching from the window. They seem very angry. There's this anger. Is there any anger involved?
No, it's all love. It's all love.
About this beautiful country?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's all about
That's
the
what I
love
want to hear.
and the
I'm sick of-
opportunities.
I'm sick of this country. We're racist. We're the most generous,
You want to have a seat here?
beautiful country.
Yeah.
Why do people come here?
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're put down. We feel like refugees.
Sorry,
Australia.
who's we?
Come have a seat here. Have a seat.
Ah,
Seriously.
I'm scared.
No, why are you scared? See?
Well, that's how we
I'm the same as
We're
you.
all scared. All my generation and people who, my ancestors came here from Ireland. They made this country. They built the bridges. They made the roads. They cleared the forests. They bought the faith. They had big families, beautiful people. And it was the most beautiful country that I lived in, was educated in, worked for 15 years in the tax department. It was a beautiful country. Australia is, it's no more. It's gone.
Why do you
The
why you think it's that?
Australia has gone because the multiculturalism. I mean, I love Indians,
Yeah.
and I like them in India.
Yeah.
I love
Have a
you
seat.
people.
Sorry.
I love you people.
Come have a seat.
And yeah, he's recording. He's not allowed to do that without my permission.
Okay.
And then I love the black people, where they are, and we go and visit, and we love them, and we enjoy.
So
It's
let me
not working.
let me ask you a question.
I love questions.
Yes, when the first Australians came here, was Australia completely empty? Were there people, the
Now
indigenous
this
people?
is exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
People who come over here from other countries, they are told lies about Aborigines. It is all lies. There is no such thing as the stolen generation. People were taken away because they were being abused, murdered. All you people have been told lies and lies.
Who was here before the Aboriginals?
Oh, I don't. See, now you're being... This is exactly where...
No.
No, you've got an agenda, and this is exactly
No.
what I'm talking about.
No.
You've already been told lies about the Aborigines, you've been told lies. Australia is the most generous...
It's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. I agree. Australia
Why would
is
you
beautiful.
care about the Aboriginals? Why isn't there a lot more to worry about?
No, because you're saying about why are other people coming here? Like you like the Indians, but you like the Indians to be in India. You like the Africans, but you like the Africans to be in Africa. So
No, I like them here so long as they don't push their culture onto us.
I have a really quick question. You said
They're pushing their culture onto us.
okay. So you said why do we care about the Aboriginals? Aren't there other things to be worried about? What kind of other things?
See, this is exactly what I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm genuinely
Goodbye.
curious. Thank you.
No idea.
See
Don't
you
you
later,
think
ma'am.
I would be the authority on things?
I feel like you have no
You're
authority
here,
whatsoever,
educated
my
here.
dear.
This country was a beautiful country.
Yeah, until you came and
Just
killed the
go
Aboriginals.
down the Googler and you'll see it. And my grandchildren
What's-
are gonna suffer.
What's making Australia go down the drains? What's the issue? Let's address the issue.
Too many multiculturalism.
Is it a problem?
Exactly, yes.
Multicultural is a problem.
Read experts about it, but there are people coming on now saying it hasn't worked, it's a disaster. Look at Europe. It's just gone.
I think you should read some about what some experts were saying about how white people are actually the problem with everything. Yeah, we don't want to listen either. I'm sorry, goodbye, my dear. You can leave now.
See, this is what you people do. You're like after the thing. She talk. Won't listen.
We're the problem. We're the problem.
Don't you think
That is what we're
I would know
doing.
more about this country than you? Answer that question. Don't you think I would know more about this country?
We like to learn. Teach us. You're
we-
coming from a place of very destructive and angry way.
Mother's Day, 7 children.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way. Happy Mother's Day. That was bizarre.
Oh.
That was the most bizarrest thing.
It's just so telling though of how like how as black people and as people of color in general you feel like you're being watched a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And how it's a very real feeling that then affects how you act and how you move and what you say and what you don't say, how you dress,
it's
everything,
crazy.
And then like when you have it confirmed in such a way,
Yeah.
when somebody pulls you out on something like this, somebody who wasn't even in this space, literally watching from a
From a window.
watchtower, from a window, like it's just so symbolic of something that we've all felt at one stage, if you don't still feel it now. Like,
Well, you feel it. I feel it every day. I feel as
Exactly.
though that I always have to prove myself. But we truly appreciate you. Thanks for coming on the show. There's something that we do at the end of each show. It's called the Barcuma challenge. First of all, you have to accept the challenge. Do you accept the challenge? I'll ask you 3 questions, right? If you get all 3 questions right, then you will put lipstick on me. Or I will put lipstick on myself,
right.
And if you get it wrong, then you put lipstick on yourself.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. Do you mean like lipstick like properly, or do
Or just however you want, you know what I mean? However that you want. You can paint my face with lipstick.
Okay.
Yeah. There's we live to a river. You can just wash our face in the toxic river and our face will fall off.
Right. This sounds appealing. So can I accept the challenge after I've answered the questions?
Pardon?
Okay, never mind. Okay, go.
Let me just get out the questions
All right.
and we should be good to go.
Cool.
So you accept the challenge?
I accept the challenge.
It's going down. But yeah, so let's get it started. You're thinking, oh, what are these questions? Do I need a calculator? No. Just need to think about it.
Okay.
When I was 6, my sister was half my age. Now I'm 70. How old is my sister?
67.
Wow.
All right.
You're good.
I
You're
am.
good.
What can I say?
You're not supposed to look at it, okay?
I can't help it. You
Okay,
looked down.
okay,
I
let
didn't
me-
see anything.
Let me just hold it here.
Okay.
A is the father of B, but B is not the son of A. How's that possible?
B is A's grandson.
A is the father of B,
Yeah.
but B is not the son of A. How is that possible? Okay, let me just rephrase that, okay? A is the father of B,
Yeah.
but B is not the son of A.
I'm sorry.
How is that possible?
You were like, okay, I'll rephrase this, and then you said it the exact same. I'm sorry. It was just funny. Okay.
I'm talking on my tone, sorry.
Okay. So, A is the father of B, but B is not the son of A,
Yeah.
and it's not because A is the grandfather.
I'll give you 3 shots. Just something.
Okay. A is the grandfather of B.
A is the father of B.
A is the father of B.
But
B is not the son of A.
yeah.
A is the
that
father of B. A is the father of B, but B is not the son of A.
How's that possible?
I'm trying to work that out.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just letting you know. How's that possible? Just want to know. Okay, at this rate, we're going to be here all day.
Okay, I think I don't know.
Okay, great.
Don't tell me yet. Go to the next question.
Okay, cool. We'll reveal it all at the end.
Okay,
Okay. Awesome!
I'm ready.
Okay. What has a head and a tail, but no body?
A coin? Hey! That would hurt.
Sorry. I'm
okay.
just a tough man.
Okay. Do I still have to answer the other one though?
Yeah. You want me
Can
to
you
rephrase it for you? I mean, like, I can't rephrase it, but you want me to say it in a different tone.
Okay.
Like, A is the father of B, but B is not the son of A.
Oh my goodness.
How is that possible?
It's like listening to it with new ears. It all makes sense now. Okay. I think I'm gonna
I'll show you these are.
lose. Oh! A is the stepfather of B.
Okay, you have one more shot.
Oh!
Not it.
Oh, because then you'd be
Okay.
a stepson. You'd be a grandson.
A is the father of B, but B is not the son of A. How is that possible?
The thing is, I just need another 5 minutes.
Okay, no worries.
No, I'm kidding. Okay.
No, take your time.
Really? Okay.
If you want, I can be like the music in the background.
I
can
really
sit-
need you to be quiet.
Okay.
Cool. He's the father of B. What kind of father? But B is not the son.
A is A is the father of B.
I
But
give
B
up,
is
man.
not the son of A.
You usually say A is the father of B?
A is the father of B.
Yeah.
But B is not the son of A.
I don't know.
You give up?
I give up.
B is the daughter.
Oh, freaking hell. I know that. That's obvious. Why'd you tell me? Can we go back 5 minutes in time?
Too late, too late.
Oh.
Can someone please fetch the lipstick, which has been
I
kindly
just can't believe.
provided by Judy's House of Beauty. Thank you, Judy. That's her picture there. Lovely lady. We put her details at the bottom if you want to get her lovely products.
I'm so
Sir.
ashamed.
Look at the way she has packaged it for us. Wow. Thank you, Judy. We truly appreciate it. This is gonna go on so nicely, right? So nicely. Did I say so nicely? Okay, there's a couple things in here. See? Beautiful lipstick. It is, I don't know if you can get a close shot of this. Wow, it looks pretty fancy. It's like a Ferrari of lipsticks. Okay. Raising the flag. Okay. You gonna put on yourself or should I? Okay, you put it on yourself. But wherever I tell you to put, that's where you're gonna put. Okay. Top lip. Oh, great, wonderful. Okay. Streak from your nose all the way down to your chin. That's one continuous
Really?
streak.
Did you
Yeah.
bring wipes?
Yeah, we bought wipes. Okay, it's up there. Then 2 dots on your cheeks. 2 dots, one at the top and one at the bottom. 2 dots on each end. 1, 2. All right. 1. I drew this out before I even, what I want you to look like. Okay.
Okay, so this is really a work of art.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
projecting onto my face.
Okay. Now, on top of your eyebrows, just one nice thin streak.
But not get on my scarf.
It did not get on your scarf. Maybe a little. Okay. Now, on the other side as well, it used to be balanced out. What's going on?
Is that balanced out?
Wow. She looks
How do
cool.
I look?
Look.
Okay.
Judy's House of Beauty.
I don't think this is good at advertising for. Go ahead, sorry.
What I mean, it's beautiful. The color and it. How's the texture? Smooth?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so do the bottom lip as well. Okay. And one dot right in the middle. Yep. And give yourself whiskers.
Whiskers.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I think that's enough, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. You look great. daawwattoota keenya ara qophiin isinii dhiyeessinee jiru asirra raawwattii keessumaa keenyan hedduu galatoom jechaa akka isin bu'aaraa fudhatan abdii guddoo qabna. Monaaliin hedduu galatoom jechaa ammaas yoo kitaaba isii riip yoo bitachuu feetan description jalatti isinii maxxansina. Akkasumaan Judy's House of Beauty information isii description jalatti isinii keenya akka isin gartee laaltanii meekaappii waan babbareedduu qabdi achiraa bitachuu ni dandeessan. Ammoo jajjatteen isinii qabna osoon tumurre jajjatteen tun maali jettanii gurra keessan gama kiyyanaa liqeessaan isiniin ja'a. Biyya maabarii jaldeessaa kan poolisiin qalame nuti walii gallu malee duutee teenya akka malee yaa ilmaan keenya waan keessa isinii ibsuun qabu isinuu ni beektanii hanga qophii biraatii walitti deebinu turtii gaarii isinii hawwa nagatti isin ja'a.